Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It is Love Sims here, and today we are here for a different kind of video yet again. So this particular video was inspired by one of my newest subscribers, Tiffany and Co 415. She recently subscribed and she left a comment on my last single father video saying that she really liked the Drama Kids Club idea and she felt like the kids in the game needed more attention. And I completely agree. I often forget to, or I don't even forget to, but I often kind of neglect or overlook my kids in the family because I don't, there's not as many things to do with them. There aren't as many clothing options, so on and so forth. But one thing that I really love about The Sims is just the imagination that I get to use when I'm playing. I don't use mods, gameplay mods anyway, because I play on a laptop and I can't bog down my laptop with those things. I'm not against them, I just don't use them, and it makes me have to challenge myself. And I feel like that's actually one of the things that a lot of people miss when they're playing The Sims 4, and is a challenge. I feel like a lot of us we love a challenge. We have to be challenged, especially when we're playing video games. Yeah, you want to relax, but you want to be challenged to some degree. And I think that's why so many of us, if you think about it, you start a new family and you don't put on any cheats or whatever, any money cheats, and you grind, and you have so much fun, like you're invested in the family while they're grinding, right? And then when you get them to the top, it's like, well, what do I do now? So you immediately start a new family. I was guilty of that so many times. And finally, I started doing little things that I have realized really help me reconnect with my game. So, one of my first tips is to start in a completely new save. You can either create one by downloading lots from the gallery, or you can download one from, the internet. There are so many people out here with save files. But that's my first tip. It's going to give you so much new gameplay because you're going to have new environments, new faces, new storylines, new places to explore, possibly clubs to join, things like that. And then my next option is to create a pre-made or pre-existing family along with the sim that you would like to play. So even if you're the type of person who wants to start out on your own with one sim and no extra money, no money cheats whatsoever, you can still do this. Even if you're starting a legacy, you can do this. You might have to come up with a slightly sadder story as to why your sim separates themselves from the pre-existing family, but you could still do this. And maybe you aren't as strict on it, or maybe you come up with a storyline that allows you to still speak to your current family but kind of go a different direction. I'll explain that a little bit later. But the reason I suggest creating pre-existing family is because it gives you more opportunities to get your Sims out without simply going to a restaurant or some venue, right? And it gives you people you can socialize with on a regular basis. So I'm going to show you two families that I created. And the reason I'm doing that is because it'll give you different examples of what I mean, of how impactful this can be and how it can help your gameplay. So this is Big Mama and her husband Joseph Markham. They would be considered our original founders, okay? They have two children, Melanie Markham and Anton. I decided to give Big Mama, I didn't give her gardening, which is something that I recommend. I usually always give my elders gardening because I'm like, come on, that's what they do, right? But I wanted to switch that up because I was starting to make that a habit. I was being stereotypical, right? Instead, I kind of switched to a different stereotype, but it still is different for me. So Big Mama wants successful lineage. She's cheerful, she's good, and she's family oriented. And Big Mama loves to cook. So she's kind of that family organizer. She loves for her family to come together and have big dinners, have family reunions. She's kind of that peacemaker. You know, the kids love being at her house because she spoils them. Like she is she's just big mama. Okay. And then her husband, Joseph, uh-oh, I'm sorry, guys. I pressed the button. Her husband, Joseph, loves to fish. So, what I like about him is he's really chill, but he loves fishing. So, that's kind of his oasis away from home. He gets to go out and go on fishing trips, whether it be local day trips or whether it be a trip to Granite Falls with his son or by himself or with his fishing club buddies. Maybe he likes to play cards and he plays cards with his friends and in a club. It just gives you the opportunity to play with all of the life states, right? And it, or more of the life states, and it gives you opportunity to play different points of view, different personalities, switch up your gameplay. If you're a rotational player, it's very good for that because this family is one big family. I created them as one big family. You would move them in ideally into a home together and then separate them, like send the kids off to other homes. And the reason I do that is because for some reason it seems like if you make a big family, like if you go in and make the family, they don't really have a relationship even though they're family. So I tend to move them into a house together and then move the kids out so that that relationship is already established. Next, we have their daughter, Melanie. Melanie is a single parent, so again, a completely different storyline, completely different financial bracket, so on and so forth. She's a single mother, but she's very ambitious. She's headstrong. She's educated. And I see her as like a businesswoman. Maybe she's a lawyer, even, or a judge, a doctor, just something high up. She could even be a professor, but something in that realm. You know, just looking at her wardrobe. And you get to play with a different storyline. This is her daughter and she's a young adult, so again a different life state. Then we have our teen, Haley, her daughter. So Haley wants to be a friend of the world. She's creative and she's squeamish. I imagine Haley could either be getting ready for university during her high school year. You could focus on that. Maybe she's focused on joining university for other reasons besides grades. Maybe she wants to make connections, meet new people, join a sorority. You don't know, but it gives you opportunity to create that storyline. Probably would play with Haley because it would give me more time to connect with her and continue her storyline. But again, this is just part of the example. Then we have little Cameron that's giving us the toddler phase. Will allow us to play with the toddler pack. You can set him up on toddler play dates. You can grow with him and see the world from his eyes, so on and so forth. But you have nieces and nephews you can spoil. You have children that you can continue to nurture and guide along the way. And then you have marriages. So we have Tori Markham, which is Anton's wife. And this is for my drama people. If you like a little drama in your gameplay, Tori here wanted to have the soulmate aspiration. She's romantic, she's creative, and she's outgoing. Great traits. However, if she's bored, okay, let's play the devil's advocate. If she's bored in her marriage, the romantic and outgoing trait could get her in a little bit of trouble, right? And it doesn't help that Anton doesn't really have any real ambition or direction. He wants to be a Renaissance sim. He's kind of undecided in what he wants to do. He is creative, not creative, active. He's a foodie and he is outgoing, which are all good traits, but he doesn't really have any direction. And with him being the head of the household and kind of the leader, that could cause some conflict between him and his wife, especially considering that they have a son together. She may feel like he's not stepping up. He may feel like she's not being understanding because they are young adults and maybe he just hasn't found his niche yet, you know? But again, it gives you different angles and different types of gameplay. I won't go into the other family because I don't want this to be any longer than it needs to be, but we're going to go ahead and go into the game. Actually, I am. I'm going to just bring in the other family. I won't go over them, but I'm going to bring them in because I had them set up for a different purpose. This is the Wilkes family. Okay, guys, so we're finally in the game, and this is what I wanted. I'm going to go through this process because this is what I meant. So, you would make the pre existing family, and then you would choose the household that you would want to start with, and click split from household and move. So, I'm going to move my single parent, Dana, here, and her son, Isaiah, and they're going to purchase a house with the $20,000 that you normally start with in the game. Now, since it's her and her son, technically, I'm pretty sure she's supposed to start with 22. But for some reason, this family started with 20, which I think is just because they were the way I uploaded them to the gallery. So we're going to go ahead and give her the 20K. And we're going to move them out. And I'm going to put her in a house that she can actually afford. So the house I'm going to pick for her, I had downloaded a house for her, but I actually have one in my save file that will work even better for this. So I'm going to click, well, I could do either or. I have this gutted fixer upper, which would really help with what I am about to go into. But for the sake of him having his own room, we'll go ahead and move into the house next door. Okay, guys, so my next tip is going to be utilizing your calendar. So adding holidays, special and or recurring events to the calendar. And it kind of ties in with my next tip, which I think is tip number 5, and that is to start traditions. So, like I mentioned, Big Mama kind of being that family organizer and liking to host family reunions and big family dinners and things like that. Like maybe you want to do something similar, or it could be a family vacation that you go on annually, whatever you decide to do, right? Maybe you want to donate with your family, like do some volunteer work every month, every year, whatever, around the holidays. Whatever you decide to do, utilize that with your calendar. For example, for this Saturday coming up for them, because I've set their calendar on a 2 week interval or 2 week schedule, this Saturday is going to be Sims Day. And I've set up the activities as barbecuing, fireworks, water fun, party spirit, and drink. So I imagine their family's probably going to have a cookout, whether she has one of her own or whether she attends the one at her mom's house, or maybe you rotate and maybe it's her brother's turn this year. However you want to do it to make it fun for you is what you would do. But utilize this calendar and create your own holidays. I would give you a list, but there are so many good video references out there already on YouTube. I'll link a few of them in my description box that give you plenty of holiday ideas to add to your calendar. I myself revert to many of those. I'm sure you could Google and find some things there as well to add to your calendar, but that will add some fun, unexpected, because a lot of times when we get into our like our regular gameplay, we have a habit of how we play, right? And we get caught up in that and we forget to even do anything with holidays, or that we have this calendar. This is a really great tool, so utilize that. A lot of the save files that you can download will also come with like holidays that the creator added to those as well, so look for that too. But yeah, that is another thing. And then you could even put events on here. So maybe you can do like a weekly date night if you're dating. You could do a girls' night if your sim is like a single, or you could do a mother's meetup where it's the kids, the moms and the kids all go to the park and play together. Maybe this is something that you do on a recurring basis, or just once in a blue moon, but put that on the calendar and schedule that, set it up. It'll be a lot of fun, trust me. Okay, guys, so here we are back at the house, and this is Samantha Wilkes, and her aspiration is to have a big happy family. Now, she's already had her kids, so you're probably not going to get to do that with her, but what you could do, as you can see, she wants to spend $1,000 on kid stuff. She has grandchildren. Set them up a space in the house, and buy them like make the playroom of their dreams or decorate a room specifically for them to stay in when they come over. Get them some outdoor play stuff for when they come over to your house. It'll give you incentive to send the kids there. That is another thing. In one of my games, I tend to kind of err on the side of hating or despising toddlers because I feel like once I have kids, my adults, their marriage suffers. They never get to do anything, and it's very much like in real life. But even if you have Sims who aren't married or aren't in relationships, you just want to focus on them. Maybe they need to get some schoolwork done. Maybe they need to focus on getting that next promotion so that they can be a better parent to their kid or excel in their dreams and their goals. Send them to the parents for the weekend. It will help because I can't tell you how many times I've completely abandoned a family because I was like, oh, I don't even want to go into that household. Like I just felt trapped. So those are things you could do too. Get some kid stuff so that you'll have incentive to send them over here. But she also, maybe she has some likes. Let me see. I don't know. I built them or I created them a long time ago. I don't know if I actually gave her any likes. I have not. But let's say she likes gardening. Focus on that. Give her a garden back here. I don't know if she can actually have a garden back here. This house was I just kind of just placed them here because I really wanted to go to the daughter. But let's say we put a couple planter boxes out here. Let her focus on her garden. Maybe even host a little garden party. Put her in a gardening club. Let them host garden parties from time to time. But really focus on her as an elder in her elder hood. And then, like I said, with this is a different sim. This is Nathaniel. Nathaniel likes the outdoors. He's family oriented and he's an insider. So I imagine maybe he doesn't like fishing, but maybe he does, but maybe he's more of your card player. Have him put him in a club where the Sims play cards. Have them come over every now and then to play cards. You can make snacks for them, put out the card table, like bring it on out and just have a hoot and good time with him and his buddies, but focus on him. Maybe he likes to read. You can put him in a book club, but give him like focus on all of your life states. Focus on each and every sim because it'll give you different points of views, different areas of the game that you can explore, so on and so forth. For let's move to the grandkids. So for Destiny, Destiny is a social butterfly. Put her in drama. Put her in scouts where she can make friends. Get her out of the house. Let me see. Get her out of the house and let her come over and play. The family doesn't live far from this park. Bring her over to the park. Let her play. Introduce her to fishing. Start taking her on fishing trips maybe. All sorts of things. Same thing with the toddlers. Get them in some toddler play group dates if you're a single mom. Help build those skills with them. Let the other children help him. Let the family. Let it takes a village to raise a kid. Let the village raise the kid. Moving on to the father, he is another one who wants to spoil his children, but he also, what are his traits? Good, bookworm, self-assured, domestic. Maybe he goes on a business conference. You can plan something like that. The mom is a foodie. Let her bake. Maybe consider opening a bakery, things like that. I'm sorry there isn't much gameplay in this. This is definitely more of a talking video. I am not the best when it comes to editing. So I know I could have done a lot of editing tricks and had some of this stuff going, but y'all, I'm just not that person. I can tell you, put me on in the background while you do something else and just hear what I'm saying. If you see something you like, jot it down. If you hear something you like, jot it down and use that. The next tip that I have is to just stretch your imagination. Everything that I've said is utilizing your imagination. The game isn't going to prompt you for a lot of these things. They're not going to give you options to say, hey, let's start a book club. Let's start a card players club. Let's start a fishing club. They're not going to do that. They're not going to say, let's arrange a play date for your toddler. So use your imagination. Next, let's go to the gallery because this is a good one. It's a big one and I can't believe this just came to me one day. I'm pretty sure it's come to many people because there's a whole hashtag for it. But if it didn't come to you, then it's coming to you now from me. When you're setting up a save, especially if you're creating one, whether it be downloading from the gallery or whatever, I highly recommend if you're downloading from the gallery to do this. But go ahead and go into the gallery, put in the hashtag backstory. And all types of families and even lots are going to come up for you. And all that is someone has literally written a backstory for these Sims or for this lot that you're potentially going to download. And some of them are crazy interesting. So maybe you're a builder and you finally decide you want to play the game, but you're not good at creating Sims or backstories, right? Even if you're a builder, create some builds that have some backstories. If not, do get some Sims that have backstories. So let's talk about the Reeds. I found them on the gallery. I thought they had a really interesting story. I'm going to go over a couple of them, but this is an example of what I mean. So it says, meet the Reed family. Annabelle and Logan always had this dream to be the perfect family, but with one of their twin daughters not wanting to follow the rules, how can they be the perfect family? Whose side will you take to the perfect, will you, wait, will you, whose side will you take? The perfect family or Little Miss Not So Perfect? So I thought this was kind of cool because these people appear to be kind of about appearances, outward appearances, and their daughter is kind of rebelling a little bit. She's trying to find herself, outside of this family. She doesn't mean she doesn't love them, but she's trying to find out who she is, and her family is upset with her. They feel like she's disrespecting them, blah 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 blah, whatever, right? So to look at her, maybe you would want to be against her and be like, why can't she just get with the program? But you could also go the route that I just said. She's just trying to find herself. And why shouldn't she be able to do that? So you could see both sides of the coins, and it seems like a really fun thing to kind of play out. Maybe this daughter is feeling troubled. This one looks troubled, but maybe she's really troubled because she feels like she owes her family something, and she doesn't even know who she really is. She seems to be well put together, but she's struggling on the inside, right? And this one over here is struggling a little bit, but she's a little ahead of this one because she's actually pursuing, her own dreams, her own desires, and so on and so forth. But it's a great family to play. I'm definitely putting them in my game. The next one that I thought was really cool was this S-pop group. I'm definitely adding them to my game. This is by June, or I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but it's an amazing story. It says, this is San Myshuno's popular S-pop group. They started off performing in karaoke bars, and now they live a luxury life in a penthouse. Blade is their producer, Andre their songwriter, Alex is the choreographer, Tao cooks and makes sure everyone's doing okay. Logan is only there for the parties. Kaden, the leader, brings everything together. San Myshuno can't wait for their next album. If this isn't screaming at you what to do with the family, because if I was to see this and there was no backstory here, no description, I'd be like, what the heck is this and what am I supposed to do with it? But they have literally told you. So there's so much gameplay here. It says they live in a luxury penthouse in San Myshuno, so you know where they're going to live. You get to have fun designing. I'm pretty sure even if you're a builder, you're not out here thinking, let me build an S-pop penthouse, okay? So you're going to first build them a penthouse that's worthy of them, right? Then you have each individual member, Blade, their producer. Maybe he needs a studio. It could be an in-house studio. It could be a studio somewhere else in San Myshuno, or maybe the promenade even. But you have another opportunity to be creative. That's fun, guys. Andre, the songwriter, he's going to be in the studio as well. Maybe he needs a setup at home where he can, when inspiration strikes, he can immediately go and start writing a song. Alex is the choreographer. Maybe you have like that cardboard dance floor in his room or somewhere where he can go and choreograph these dances for them. It gets you into the whole get together pack because the group dances and all that. You get to explore that, play with that. Maybe you didn't have a reason to do that before, but you have one now. Tao cooks and makes sure everyone's doing okay. So he's going to need a kitchen worthy of cooking for all these Sims, hosting all these Sims, hosting, like room to move around. So you get to design that. Caden, the leader, brings everything together. So Caden's kind of that peacemaker. He's kind of that word, like that wise sim who kind of holds the boys together, keeps them from messing up too much. You get to play that storyline, the reasonable one, the designated driver even, okay? Logan's there for the parties. So these guys are going to have parties often, right? They're also going to need fans. You can create fans for them. You can create girlfriends or guy friends for them. You know, it's just fun. It's really, really fun. And it's not a storyline that I would typically think of. I'm a family player. I'm strictly families. I would never think to create that. I really, really like it. Another one, if you're like a drama person, could be that. Doesn't have to be. But this is the Leach family. It says for Birdie and Glenn, it was love at first sight. Even though they're each other's total opposite, they got married and are now trying to raise their son, Kelvin. Birdie, being a professional athlete, is rarely home. Luckily, Glenn has never worked a day in his life and is there to take care of their son. Another good storyline. Lots of potential for drama here. They're complete opposites. That could spell trouble. He's never worked a day in his life. She's out here working hard, being an athlete. It takes a lot of drive, a lot of determination, a lot of discipline, a lot of ambition for that. A lot of practice. And yeah, she might be grateful that he's there to take care of their son. Maybe she's just starting out, so they don't have a lot of money considering he isn't working. And so they can't afford a babysitter. And at first, it's great. But as she begins to advance in her career, it could be very problematic because now she's feeling like I'm pulling my weight, you're not. And he could feel misunderstood, like, okay, you're out there, bringing in money, yeah, but I'm raising our son. Like, I'm literally raising him. I'm putting in work. This is a job. Like, there's arguments on both sides of the fence, and you get to kind of dictate and make whatever you think should happen or should happen with them come to life. I love that. So look for things like this when you're creating your save, or if you get bored and you're tired of playing the same family, do look for the backstory Sims and get that. Let's do the same things for the lots because I found some interesting lots with the backstory thing as well. So this one was really cool too. It's the lone scientist home, and it says this modern home in the secluded spot on the Windenburg Island was built for an introvert scientist who wants to live in a modern home set in the middle of nature, far away from the buzz of the science world. It's the perfect place to go on walks to collect things, go fishing, work in the home laboratory, and continue working on the rocket ship in the backyard. It's a lovely life, but can the scientist go on living like this forever, or can someone claim his heart and time? I love that because you are living in a different world that maybe you don't utilize. It's a different type of home than you would ideally imagine on this island. You would imagine a beach home, right? Maybe even a modern beach home. This thing is sticking out like a sore thumb. So people are already looking at this person like, an outsider, an outcast. You're uglifying our island. Maybe he doesn't get along with people very much because of that. And then maybe that's why he's a loner. Maybe he's just a loner because he chooses to be a loner. You get to create that story, like expand on this story that they've given you. I like that. Then we have this one, and this is the Little Flower Farm. It says the Little Flower Farm is a beautiful, serene place for your gardener Sims and flower arranging Sims. It has one spacious bedroom and two bathrooms. No, this is not what I wanted, but this is good too. It says, but the ensuite can easily be converted into a kid's room. This farm was owned by a distant relative of Princess Cordelia. In fact, legend says Princess Cordelia even visited a few times before selling off with Captain Chaz McFeeling. Love it because again, it's not as easy for me to kind of cast a story on this. I would have to kind of think about this a little bit, but again, it has that backstory and it gives you a start off point to kind of play from. But the one that I really wanted to go over with you guys was a mansion. This. Okay, so it's 2 Old Mill Lane. It says 2 Old Mill Lane has sat empty and abandoned ever since old farmer McDarren disappeared during the great cow plant catastrophe of Old New Hinford. Some say you can still hear him calling the chickens in after a long day, but that's all town gossip. This affordably priced country paradise could be yours today. So I don't think this person gave this lot traits, but I'm pretty sure haunted is a lot trait, and you could put that there. There's so many things you could do with this, guys, but this is what I mean when I say backstories that you may or may not think of. So give it a try and see if you like it. My next tip is to find amazing custom content on the gallery. So again, we're going to go back to the gallery. I'm going to look in some of my rooms. Now, a lot of this, I really like this. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you guys a house that I just built. Just one moment. Okay, guys, so this is the house I want to show you guys. This is a base game only house, I do believe. I might have added get to work in this. It's from a save file that I'm working on, and I think I was able to use base game and get to work here, but it's primarily base game. And as you know, we're limited on a lot of things in the base game. I love building in base game though, so I don't really complain too much, but I really wanted to kind of, because it was for a save file, make it as interesting as possible. And I went on the gallery and downloaded some artwork. So this is what I'm talking about. Like, I went with a different color scheme than I usually do, and that is one of my next tips. When you're creating Sims or houses, use objects that you don't normally use clothing that you don't normally use. When you're creating Sims, use traits that you don't normally use. Things of that nature, color palettes when you're doing houses. But I downloaded these paintings that are really cute and kind of add something different to the house, make it their own. And it ties everything together because these are some really wild colors that, well, they're not wild, but it's not colored palettes that I would normally choose. When you go into the kitchen, excuse me, guys, I'm sorry. You know, I'm not good at camera work. I've got this little picture here, and I went with a different color scheme in here as well, red. You know, I'm not big on red, but I kind of did it in a way that I'm comfortable with. I really love this house, actually. And I added this cute little eat, pray, love painting in here. So things that really make a house feel more like a home and make it feel more lively without a bunch of clutter, because I'm not a person who loves a bunch of clutter. I'm good with using it, but I don't like to over clutter. And then this one I thought was really cute in here in the dining room. It just says bless this food, and again, it adds a little something to the room without me having to go crazy. I'm trying to see where else I put pictures in here. I know I put stuff in the kids' rooms. So for this room, I imagine it's for a little boy who's into sports, and I loved this sign. I wanted to put it in a playroom, but this house didn't have one, so I just put it in his room because he is all about his sports and stuff. In this room, I found this cute little llama. So these are like custom content pictures that you'd find on the, like, you know, when you're looking up Sims 4 custom content paintings. They're not paintings that are in the game, so I consider it quote unquote custom content paintings that I got off of the gallery, and there are so many of them that really add to the build, and I love it. In here I've just put get naked because, again, I wanted to add some personality. So this family, just from the pictures alone, you kind of get the vibe that they are a family who loves togetherness. They are a family who goes to church. They're a family that believe, you know, they have, you can kind of tell a little bit about the kids. And then I loved this set. So Mr. Right and Mrs. Always Right, again, kind of bringing out that personality. I feel like their room is a little more old fashioned without it, but just adding these two paintings right here. See how it's a little more old fashioned? It's neat and it's tidy, but it seems a little more old fashioned. But somehow just adding these two little paintings kind of makes you think that maybe they're not as old as you think. Maybe they're like in their maybe they're adults. Maybe they're like 35, 40, something like that. And then in the kids' bathroom, you can tell it's a kids' bathroom, obviously, from the wallpaper and stuff. But I love this little wash your hands sign and the flush the toilet sign over here. I even took some robes and kind of sized one down to make it a toddler robe. Just things like that. When you're, if you're a builder, focus on details. It's gonna make your builds. You're gonna have that much more fun creating the details because you're gonna be thinking about the family that's gonna live there, and that's what's gonna determine the details that you're gonna add to the house. What will they need? What would the family that live here like? What would their personalities be like? Let that home speak for them. I imagine these people were entertainers, so I built them a little place out here where they can entertain, or they can even just come out themselves. The little boy has a tent back here. Mom has a little garden spot. Like, it's good, just these are tips that I have to make it more fun, whether it's building or playing. Because even a house like this, it has a little more personality, is going to help you. Next tip is to add townies catered to certain sims. So you can also on the gallery find, like, if maybe your sim is a professor, you can add like there are professor townies. I'll show you guys that real quick. There are professor townies. I don't know how easy this is going to be, but let's say professor or university NPCs, because that's usually what people say. No, that's not what I want. Let's try to do university townies. I'm pretty sure there's a hashtag for this, but I don't know what it is. But I have seen them just like and scrolling the gallery looking for other things. So see, you have townies, you can put them in your game. If you're a legacy person, you can always type in that legacy loves and it'll give you townies, but you can also get like singles from the gallery and put them into your game so that your sim has a bigger dating pool and you're not dating like the townies that came with the game. And then creating venues that cater to your playstyle or your sims. So, for example, this house isn't meant to be here, but I did place it. Maybe your sim's an athlete. This park in particular has a basketball court. Maybe they're into eco lifestyle, but they don't want to live in Evergreen Harbor. This park has a place for eco gardening. There is the little machine that they use in this building here. Maybe they're into dog training, but they don't want to live in Brindleton Bay. This has a little dog park here. Maybe they want to be, they have the that popularity aspiration, and they need to get out and spend time with friends. You build a restaurant or a cafe that they can go in, but they get a coffee and they leave. No, build spaces where they can stay here all day. So there are laptops inside where they can come and get work done, or there's places where they can sit to get work done. If they're a freelancer, or maybe you have a group of friends who want to come out and just chill, eat, maybe get a coffee, but sit and talk for a longer time, they can come out here all any time of the year. Same with this. This has a little coffee bar on the side of it. So again, just cater to your play style, cater to your sims. Put things in the town that your sims are going to need. Those are all of my tips, you guys. I know this was long and drawn out. I really hope you just put me on in the background while you did something else and listened to what I had to say. The next time I do one of these, maybe I'll be a little more well versed in editing, and I can make it a little more entertaining for you all. But I hope you gained something from it. I highly recommend you go look at my top favorite restaurants. I'll leave that in the iCards or the description, because it'll add to what I was talking about as far as catering to different Sims, different personalities, different life states, so on and so forth. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please feel free. Wait, please, what did I just say? Please feel free to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you have some tips of your own on how to make the game fun, leave them in the comments so we can all kind of look and get some tips on how to make our games more fun. And I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.